Okay, please remember to mute yourselves as you join. And please mute yourselves. Mute yourselves as you join. Okay, please remember to mute yourselves as you join. And please mute yourselves. Mute yourselves as you join. Okay, please remember to mute yourselves as you join. All right, and let's get a few co-hosts as well.
It's me, dear.
Looking for your class captain. Okay, Fumi, you are co-host, so you can help us to manage the room tonight without any distraction. I'm also looking for Patricia. Is Patricia in the room?
I'm here,
so
sir.
You are co-host. Just let's see.
Have you seen my name?
Who is supposed to be assistant? Okay, Patricia is here. Let's make you co-host. All right. Can you all confirm with thumbs up that you can see my slide? Just confirm with thumbs up. All right, excellent. All righty, excellent. So usually during the Financial Fitness Challenge, we have 2 or 3 Zoom sessions, practical sessions, to hear your questions, to coach you, and then also to show you practical skills for increasing your financial well-being. And so the last one, which is plenary 3, is usually focused on your net worth, because the whole idea is that you should grow. Okay, the whole idea of this challenge is that you should grow your financial well-being. And that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. So I'm going to share some foundational principles, and then we are going to take some time to actually do the exercises. And you will have a chance to also ask questions, specific questions. And as it were, this is not the end of the program, as it were. This is not the end. It is actually the commencement. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and let's make sure that this is being recorded. For those whose time zone would not permit to join. All right. Yeah, it's being recorded. Okay, so the first exercise that we are all going to do, every single person in the chart. If you've got 100 days left, so imagine that life tells you that you have exactly 100 days left. What's the one problem that you're going to solve for the world? Every single person, please do that right now. Do it in your journal and also type it in the chat. Think about it. You have only 100 days, which is approximately to the end of this year to live. And there's just one problem that you will solve for the world. What is that problem going to be? Everybody can type in the comment section. Okay, so okay, keep your comments. You have only one problem to solve for the world. What is that going to be? Everyone, this is perhaps the most important exercise you can do. All right, co-host, please.
Recording in progress.
Please, could you make sure that everybody's muted? Okay, so let's take a few answers from here. Okay, so YM says end poverty. Manuel says solve the problem of poverty. All right, I'm not surprised. The people in the Financial Fitness Challenge want to solve the problem of poverty. Keep coming. Keep it coming. Okay, there's a lot of end poverty here. There's a lot of ending poverty. Keep it coming. And I would like you to be very, very specific. Be very, very specific. Because even solving poverty is a little bit general, but that's fine. You know, solving poverty is like, it's really huge. Remember, you have just 100 days. So if you can narrow it exactly to what the solving of poverty means, that would be wonderful. Chinedu says, I would try to end, suffering due to ignorance. Okay, so I like Elijah's son. This is very specific, very actionable. So don't just say end poverty, make it very actionable. So Elijah says, I'll write a book titled Living a Life Worth Remembering. Francis says, provide the right education to enable them or whatever the life challenges of life. Okay. Chukwebuka says, introduce financial education to the school system. All right. And Fumi says, conflict resolution between countries. Important. That's good. Michael says, I will make everyone to be well knowledgeable on this wonderful exposure you have given to me. Fantastic. Yakubu says, I will ensure I pass my financial knowledge to my family and friends to ensure, to enjoy financial freedom. Excellent. I like that. Very, very specific because you've got 100 days. Now, I need you to look at the things you've written. Look at those things that you've written down that you're going to do. Do you know that if you're not engaging in them right now, then whatever else you're doing, you shouldn't be doing? Did you know that? Because you do not know when the last 100 days, you don't know when your last 100 days, will happen. So whatever you wrote there, is what you should actually prioritize. That's what you should be doing with your life. So keep this question close to you all the time, because wealth is hardly about money. So often people think that creating a lot of wealth means pursuing money. But these are some of the questions that actually build wealth. So this is a key wealth question, because this is talking about the sort of value that you can bring to the world. And it's as you're bringing that value to the world that you are getting rewarded for the wealth. I'm here in this local place, and I am using Elon Musk's Starlink. So he has solved a problem of connectivity for hundreds of millions of people around the world. And I'm happily paying him. So he's wealthy because he's solving a practical solution in the world. That's why I'm telling you that this question you're looking at here is not a play question. It's really a question you should sit down with. Because all the money we make in this world is hidden in the problem that you will solve for the world. And the world will pay you in accordance with how they value what you've done for them. This is why you find a footballer earn more income than some countries in Africa. Why? Because the world has placed a certain value on soccer, on entertainment. The same thing with actors, people who make movies, is because the world has placed some sort of insane value on acting. And that's why the world pays them that way. So you want to make sure that whatever you are doing or problem that you're solving, that is actually a rewarding problem. It's a problem that actually people are interested to have you figure out for them. And I like that many of you said that you want to end poverty. That's a very, very worthy problem. So many people want to come out of poverty. It's a big problem and they don't know how. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, like I keep saying, money is the easiest thing to make. Money is easy to make if you have a system, if you know what you're doing. Money was extremely hard for me for the most of the first half of my life because I didn't understand what I was doing, because I didn't have a system. So I had literally hundreds of millions slip through my hands and become wasted because I didn't know. So lots of people in the world would be very excited to have you help them to break the cycle of generational poverty in their lives. So the question you need to, and if I meet you at the airport or I meet you in the streets, the question I would like to ask you is, what problem are you solving for the world? So you should never complain about money, about lack of money, about lack of income. Never. Nobody who goes through this financial fitness challenge should be caught complaining about lack of money. What you should be asking, instead of why don't I have enough money, you should be asking yourself, what problem am I solving for the world? What problem am I solving? What value am I bringing? That's how you measure wealth. Okay, so that's a very important icebreaker. Okay. And I have some more interesting answers here. Joel says, I will create financial network system. Okay, like that. And then Benga says, get my children to commit to ending financial illiteracy and poverty in my family lineage. Very good. Very good. It's all doable. Okay. Now, let's start by talking about your net worth, because this is really where it begins. To be able to solve some of these problems, it's like, it's an interesting cycle. First, you solve the problem, and then you grow your net worth. Even the job you're doing, for some of you in 9 to 5, you're actually solving a problem, and you will see that what they pay you in your workplace is exactly proportional to the value that they place in your position. And that's why you find two individuals working in the same organization. One is earning literally $3 million. There are people like that, in some companies in Nigeria, like MTN. The MTN guy, I don't know how much, I don't remember. I think I saw it published somewhere. The Zenith Bank MD, I saw it published somewhere. The MTN guy, maybe something like 200 and something million or 300 million, some crazy number like that a month. But you see, I beg your pardon, a year, I think it's 300 and something million. Somebody who knows, you can check it very quickly. And then, and of course, if you go to the United States, you find CEOs who earn $10 million, $20 million. But in the same company that one person is earning $10 million a year, you find other people earning $60,000 a year. Why? Yeah. It's not that you're not a good person, but the marketplace has a way of valuing your contribution. And so instead of complaining about poor salary or low income, don't complain about those. Ask yourself how you can upgrade your contribution. How do you upgrade your contribution? So if you're in 9 to 5 at this time, that's a more important question than looking for a salary raise. Because in the same organization, you find people who are earning 100 times in the same organization, more than you. Why do they pay them that much? Because the organization values their contribution. And then if you look very carefully, most times the people who earn the most are not necessarily the technical people. There are people who have managerial skills, who have organizational skills, who have strategic thinking skills, who have people skills, who have the competencies to envision the future for the organization, and then to harness the resources in the organization to make that future happen. And they will pay them. Because if you think about it, you have a CEO who, let's say the net worth of your company is $100 million. And then you bring in this CEO, a visionary, very, very strategic thinker, who takes that $100 million in revenue that you normally do in a year and takes it to 500. Do you see how easy it is to pay him 10 million or 20 million? So now, this eases into the conversation around net worth. You should be, if you have gone through or you are going through the financial fitness challenge, think in terms of net worth from this moment forward. Don't think in terms of your income. Don't think in terms of your salary. Don't think in terms of how much balance you have in your bank account. I'm telling you precisely, sometimes my bank account, what I have, the balance in my bank account, cannot fuel my car. Today a family member asked for money and it was something I was supposed to have paid for. Okay, something I was supposed to have paid for. But I didn't have that money because I'm not focused on bank statement. I'm not focused on bank balance. I'm focused on net worth. And so you might have people around you who don't have cash. Sometimes they trek because they're not able to buy a car. But those guys, they don't have cash, they don't have transport money, but that doesn't stop their net worth from growing. And then many times their net worth is growing exactly because they are practicing delayed gratification. Because one of the enemies of your net worth is, what's the opposite of delayed gratification? Like instant gratification. iPhone 17 comes out, you must have it. What for? But the iPhone 16 you've had is still serving you. Why do you have to spend that? I don't know how much it is now, probably like $1,200, $1,500 to buy a phone when you're using. Still works. That is punishment to your net worth. That kind of behavior will punish your net worth. But your net worth, so we are focusing on growing your net worth, because I would like to see some of you double your current net worth. And I'm going to show you how to double your net worth because I've done it. I'm going to show you how to double your net worth. So I would like that some of you will double your net worth, triple your net worth, quadruple your net worth in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Quadruple it. You wake up every morning. Your concern should be, what are the net worth growing activities that I can do today? What are the net worth killing activities I must avoid today? Now, your net worth is a mirror of every financial decision you've ever made in your life, good or bad. So this is why it's a very important index. This is a very important, when you are talking about, if you must talk about financial fitness or talk about wealth, your conversation should focus around your net worth, not your salary, not how much you're earning, but what is your net worth? Okay, so now, what is actually net worth? I gave you a video that actually deals with the net worth thing, which I told you to watch before this plenary, and I hope you did it. But in very simple terms, your net worth is your assets minus your liabilities. Your total assets minus your total liabilities. And then your assets include things like cash in the bank, your investments, stock, real estate, your retirement account, your business assets. If you have a farm, all those valuables, anything that brings money into your wallet, that's an asset. And your liabilities are the things you owe, the things that take money from your pocket, and the things you owe, your personal loans, your mortgages, your business debt, all kinds of liabilities. You list them, and then you take the total of your assets and you remove your total liabilities, and then that will give you your net worth. And everybody here needs to know what your net worth is at the tip of your finger, because you can't begin to grow what you're not measuring. You can't monitor that, but you should be able to say, in 2020, my net worth was this. See, because when I did this exercise the first time, calculating my net worth, incidentally, I was literally forced to do it because my children were going to school in a place that required that I fill a form, which they called CSS profile or something. Very, very thorough form, so many pages. Literally asking about all my assets, the cars I have, the year they were made, if I had any real estate, if I had any stocks, if I had business, what my taxes were, and things like that. So it was a very difficult form to complete for me initially, because unfortunately in this part of the world, we don't really give this sort of, maybe because we don't have an organization like a tax authority like the IRS in the US. And so we just relax. But in the US, the fear of IRS is the beginning of financial wisdom. So everybody has this. You don't throw away receipts. But here, many parts of Africa, you buy things in the supermarket. You don't even collect your receipt. Not over there. So, because all these things eventually give you this one single financial indicator. So what was your net worth in 2020? What's your net worth today? If you don't know, you won't be able to tell whether you're actually growing, becoming richer, or becoming poorer. And there are, actually, before I go to the 4 pillars, when you calculate your net worth, like I will encourage you to do that if you already haven't done it, there are 3 possible outcomes. The first is that your net worth is positive. Your net worth is positive. It has a plus. It's on the green. What this means is that you are building. So that's a good place to be. Your net worth can also be negative, meaning that your liabilities are more than your assets. Your total liabilities are more than your total assets. That's a very uncomfortable place to be when you have a negative net worth. But again, it's not doom. It's just your starting point. So the negative net worth is not to discourage you, but it's actually to just give you clarity, give you some clarity around where you are. Because the biggest problem I see with 90-something% of the people that I meet is that they don't even have any clarity around their finances. And hopefully in the Financial Fitness Challenge, you've gotten to have some clarity around your finances. Maybe before the Financial Fitness Challenge, you thought you were financially okay, well-to-do. But now your eyes are clear. And clarity gives you power because you now know your real condition and your real financial condition. And then if you've gone through the Financial Fitness Challenge, you would have already caught my spirit, because my spirit is that wealth is not show off. You're not trying to impress anybody. You've got to define what success means to you, what enough, what abundance means to you, and then face your own growth. When you do that, you won't care what someone else's net worth is. And many times the people buying the expensive cars, your young people buying the expensive cars, living in very expensive neighborhoods, when you see, those people don't understand what net worth is. Because I've seen them, many of them. And then sometimes they are just one crisis away from total ruin. And because they do not have positive net worth, they always have to start again. It could be the loss of a job, it could be some fire accident, it could be some bereavement in the family and things, and they come collapsing. And then they have to start selling off the cars and things like that to find food to eat. So clarity, that's what negative net worth would mean. It's not doom, it just gives you your starting point. It just gives you clarity around your real financial situation, and you can start from there. The second or the third possibility after you've done your net worth exercise, net worth calculation, is that it is flat. Flat meaning that your assets and liabilities are very much at par. And it might also mean that you're just running on a treadmill. So what really matters is that it's not where you start, but the direction you are growing. Even if you're negative net worth, you really want to make sure that your direction is forward, because it doesn't make sense that you are in the pit and then you continue to dig yourself in, because that's what people do, because they don't know their net worth, their negative net worth. But by the time you see how you are 40 something, you are 43, and at 43 and at 45 and at 47, what you owe is bigger than what you have, and you're still digging deeper, collecting loans, here and there to fund wedding, fund funeral, to have expensive vacations, then you're digging yourself. You're not going forward. You're actually going backward. Now, so there are 4 pillars of net worth, right? 4 pillars of net worth. As you expect, the first pillar is earning, is income, some earning, because you need to increase the inflow, because that is what's going to go. When it comes in, it goes first of all to your asset column. Now, but bringing it in is not enough. The second pillar is to keep it. You don't want to cannibalize your capital, because for those of you who earn salary, and for those of you in small business, or you have some side hustles, when that money comes in, it's not for you to spend everything. And it's not for you to, because you've seen, maybe you did a job, you sold some real estate, and then you make a lot of money, and then you go on a spending spree. So you've got to cut the leaks, all the ways that money is leaking in your family. Sometimes it could be something as simple as wasting food, all forms of waste in the house. Sometimes it could come in the form of just buying gadgets, because that's how my money was leaking. In those days, I couldn't see any new gadget each time I traveled into the US. And part of it was just this either FOMO, or what would I say? When I come back to Africa, I won't find these things here. I won't find them in Nigeria. So I bought shoes, bought clothes that sometimes I didn't use because they were on sale and things like that. So you have to cut those leaks and the waste. Then it's not enough, because if you just earn and keep, inflation is going to attack it. So another enemy of your net worth is inflation. So you've got to invest. That's a major pillar of net worth. Investing wisely, investing in assets that outpace inflation. Because if inflation, like in some countries in Africa, it's double digits, 20-something%, and your investment is bringing in 15% or 12%, your net worth is not growing. And then it's also complicated by the situation that your base currency, the base currency of your net worth, faces lots of fluctuation and devaluation, like the Nigerian naira, that in the past 2 years or so, past 2-3 years, came from about 500-600 naira to a shocking 1,500 naira. So you see that automatically depresses your net worth. So 3 years ago, you may have been net worth positive, but right now, because of the devaluation, the multiple devaluations and things like that, you now are net worth negative, which now brings in the 4th pillar. You've got to protect and defend your asset against erosion, against inflation. And then sometimes the way you do that is to hedge, to hedge a stronger currency. Earn money in your local currency, but also you plan to earn money in your a more stable currency. Okay, very good. And I just saw another one. Omenka says, create a drug that reverses autism for children. Fantastic. I like it. It's very, very, very straight. Did you know that if you create that kind of drug that reverses autism, and believe me, it exists. That drug exists somewhere. I'm very convinced it exists in one of the forests in Africa. in one of the plans that nobody has even known, that if you actually juice it and then give to the autistic child, it rewires the brain automatically. Do you know that it actually exists? And then, do you know if you find that drug today, within 30 days, you are going to be a billionaire in euro or in dollars? Did you know that? So this actually illustrates the power of what we are talking about. Look at Elon Musk. Just solve this problem of internet. A couple of years ago, this thing was just in the textbooks. But now he created these satellites, put them out there. And then literally every part of the world can get internet from there. You see what we're going through with modems in those days, with, dial-ups of internet, with internet, just a couple. And then this guy comes, solves this big problem. That's why he's a billionaire. So if you can seriously face it and develop a drug that reverses autism in children, because that drug exists, you will never, the next 10 generations of your family will never lack money. So that's what we're talking about. Okay. So how do you double your net worth? So this is a very powerful thing, investment banking and then in economics. And I want to be sincere with you. I didn't know how they arrived at that rule of 2072, but it does work magically. And then some of you who have done calculus and all that, you might actually be able to reverse engineer this. But the formula to double your net worth is your annual growth rate, okay, in percentage. Your 72 divided by your annual growth rate. And it will give you the number of years to double your net worth. And I have an example at the right. So if your current net worth, for instance, is 10 million, and then you are growing it at 6%, which is actually terrible, in our own environment where inflation is 20-something%, but just for illustration. But in some Western countries, 8%, 10% is fantastic. But if you are doing 12% in Nigeria, you are not going anywhere. You're not going to double anything. And that's why most mutual funds return at least 20%. So at 6%, your money will double every 12 years, because that is 72 divided by 6. That gives you 12 years. So in 12 years, that money becomes 20 million. And if you are doing 12%, that money doubles every 6 years, because that's 72 divided by 12. And if you are doing 24%, you can double your money in 3 years. And it's very, very possible around here, where we have some stocks, some growth stocks doing 1,000%. Some Nigerian stocks have done 400% since the beginning of this year. So it's possible if you know what you're doing. In fact, even to, but we don't talk about get rich quick schemes, but sometimes it can happen quickly, because if you have, can you imagine that, let's say you've done 72%. How many years would it take you to double your net worth if your investments return 72%? So that's going to be some outlier situation, but it's not impossible. So type the math, type the answer in the comment section. Suppose, using the rule of 72, suppose your investment grows at 72% in the next 1 year. How long is it going to take you to double your net worth? So just let's see that you're following. Type it in the comment section. If you grow your investment by 72%, how long is it going to take you to double your current net worth? Exactly, 1 year. Absolutely. So it's 1 year. Okay. But of course, avoid get rich quick things, because many times when we want to double our money, our net worth too quickly, we end up losing everything. But it is also possible that things like that can happen. And then sometimes, for those of you in crypto, you know that sometimes the crypto can be very crazy. There are people who have done 1,000, 10,000% in some meme coins and then the previous bull runs. And then that's how they spent $100 in some coin and then ended up with 1 million. But it doesn't happen all the time. It's actually high risk, high return asset. Okay, so how do you grow your net worth? We're going to set this theory and then we go practically into that. So there are basically 5 ways that you can grow your net worth. And you need to pay attention, because the goal of the financial freedom is for you to financial fitness challenge is for you to grow your net worth. You grow your net worth to a position where you can retire, where you can go face your purpose without ever having to work again. And if you're working, it's because you love to work. Someone like me, I'll still be teaching. I'll still be doing what I'm doing. Even when I'm 85, 90, I'll still be doing it because I love to do it. But I don't want to be doing it at 80, at 70, because I have to eat and survive. I want to be doing it because that's what I'm called to do, and because I love to do it. That is what growing your net worth will do for you. So the first way, which is very obvious, is to increase your asset growth rate. I just showed you, that the higher your asset growth rate, the more that your investments grow, your net worth grows. And so you have a mix of high risk, high return, low risk, lower return, balancing of your portfolio to be able to grow beyond the valuation and beyond the inflation. Then, of course, the second strategy is to reduce your liabilities. You can actually reduce your liabilities. Some of us eat too much. And to be honest, the human body doesn't need as much food as we plant into it. So I have a Kenyan colleague. She visited Lagos, and they treated her to some, amazing Nigerian soup. There was ogbono, there was egusi, there were all kinds of vegetable soup and things like that. And then she was telling me, we were in Zanzibar together. And where we went to eat, in a restaurant in Zanzibar. And then she was now telling me this story about that. Her culture shock was that people still ate. They had the ogbono soup, they had the goosey soup, which was already food, according to her. And she was shocked that people still had to add swallow, what Nigerians call swallow, pounded yam, and all that. So she couldn't believe it, because it's like the ogbono soup is already enough food. So we can reduce the liabilities. Reduce the liabilities. You mustn't buy that that 4-wheel drive, that Nigerians call Jeep. You mustn't buy that SUV right now. You mustn't buy that SUV right now, because it's one thing to buy it, it's a different thing to maintain it. And for a lot of people, their biggest liabilities is maintaining the car. Buying a car is easy. Buying an SUV is very, very easy, and it feels great. But it's a different thing altogether to maintain it. And then you find a lot of people, a significant part of their monthly income goes into repairing the cars. And then sometimes it's not just one car, because husband has car, wife has car, the children have one car that day. And then the amount of money you spend on mechanics, if you know what I'm talking about, just say I'm a witness. And if it has happened to you, it's happening to you, just say I'm a witness. Type it in the comment section. The third strategy is to grow, to add streams of income, additional streams of income. And please go to YouTube and find the episodes I have done on. There's one recent one on 12 ways to earn income online or something like that. Because to be honest with you, if you have laptop, you have electricity, you have Wi-Fi, and you have ChatGPT, goodness gracious, you have at least 50 different online side hustles that you can actually do right now to start earning money. And that $5 a day, $10 a day, it means a lot. So add new streams of income. Protect, recycle your money, recycle. For instance, in, dividend reinvesting, when a company pays you dividend, the dividend might be small, but that dividend is like a spirit. Go put it back in that same company. Put it back in that same company. You will amaze yourself, in 5 to 10 years, what the dividend you reinvested today actually will mean to your net worth. So protect, recycle your money, use insurance, have emergency fund, plan your estate. And finally, leverage wisely. So avoid consumer loans, avoid bad loans as much as possible, because a bad loan can set you back financially for more than 5 years. It's happened to me. But mine was probably more than 7 or 8 years. A bad loan, bad debt can set you free. And if it has happened to you, just type bad debt in the comment section. Type in the chat. Type bad debt. If bad debt has actually set you free. For those of you who have, like me, experienced the terror of debt, when we see debt, the other day I was in my bank, and then the bank manager, when he cited me that I was there, called for me. And then it wasn't the first time he's been asking that I should take money, that we should do something, together, and he wants to give me money. The guy wants to give me hundreds of millions. I've been running. I have to collateral, C of O, and some property. He said, come and take money. We have money to give you. Come and take money. You are a valued client or something. I refused. Because you're taking, before you take a loan in this part of the world, you're borrowing at 30%. I think in Ghana, it's even like 35%. You better know what you're doing with it. So leverage very, very wisely. You better know what you're doing with that money before you do it, because bad loan can set you back by many years. Okay. Let's pause a little bit before we go into the next session to take a few questions. So if you have questions, raise your hand on what we have done so far. Raise your hand, we'll take it. Then we'll take a little break, like a 2-3 minute break, bathroom break, and then we'll come back to continue to the next session. So if you have question, you can type in the comment section or just raise your hand and I'll call you. Or if you don't have a question, please type your aha moment. What's been an aha moment? So let's do some checking in. What's been your aha moment so far? Everybody do that quickly. Okay, question or aha moment? Okay. Yeah. Joel says, I'm a witness. My former Jeep almost ruined my finances. Yeah. Okay, Fumi says, the aha moment that I can double my net worth. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Any more? Is there any question? Are we good to go? Okay. Omenka says delayed gratification is an important ingredient for success, especially for managing your net worth. Very, very important, because delayed gratification cannibalizes. If you don't delay gratification, it can cannibalize your net worth seriously. Okay. And yeah, okay. Excellent. Okay, so let's take, this is 2021. We've almost done an hour. So let's take 3 minutes for bathroom break, and then we can come back at 2025. 2025, I'll see you back here again. All right, so you can go for your bathroom break or grab a quick drink or something, and I'll see you in 3 minutes. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Okay, so let me share with you a very, very powerful wealth principle that has helped me in the past 5 years. And you're going to see why this is extremely powerful. So I call it the Ezra principle, or the Ezra code. Ezra was a scribe in the Jewish Old Testament, and he wrote a book in his name. And in that book, he gives us some insight as to why he was a very, very successful person. First of all, Fumi, your hand is up. Is it by accident, or did you want to?
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask if the recording is on.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Question. Let's make sure that I think it is. Let me see.
It is on.
I think there's a way you should be able to tell, right? Okay, I think it is.
Yeah, at the top of the screen.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. So he said that Ezra had set his heart to study the law of the Lord, to practice it, and to teach its statutes and ordinances in Israel. So now, this was a very heavy code for me. And you can see those three words that I underlined. This is a universal key. This is a universal key, whether you're talking about leadership or you're talking about wealth, talking about personal growth. This is a universal key. So the Ezra code or the Ezra principle is study, practice, and teach. Whatever it is that you want to excel in, don't start teaching. That's what a lot of people do. They start teaching what they don't understand. First of all, study it. Understand it. This is also the reason some people invest in stock market and they make tens of millions. Another person does the same thing, even buying the same stocks in the same market, in the same US stock market or Nigerian stock market or Abu Dhabi stock market. And the person fails. Why? Because they didn't start with studying, with enlarging their consciousness about this domain that they are stepping into. So the first thing is to study. And when you are studying something, it's not casual. You're spending hours, you're grinding, you're reading, you're making notes, you're watching, you're listening to coaches, to mentors, you're reading biographies of people who have excelled in that domain. That is a study. Then study is not enough, because you've often heard people talk about head knowledge. You've got to practice. Why is practice important? So that what you've learned will kind of become flesh. Because wealth is not what you have. It's not what you know. Wealth is who you are. So the reason you practice, you're practicing until you're literally one with it. So when someone calls you coach, let it be because you've so practiced that whether you're sleeping or eating, every interaction, coaching comes out. Because you've so practiced, like every interaction, whether you're meeting a total stranger on the road, or you're meeting a mad person, or you're meeting an angry person at the airport or something, or you're meeting a customer service person, that coaching instinct takes over because you've so practiced. So practice is so important because practice is what encodes that discipline into your nervous system. And I tell you, your nervous system is everything. Your nervous system is the energy that produces wealth. Your nervous system is the energy that makes things possible in your life. Because if you don't have it, you don't have it. So you've trained the nerves and actually built the nerves, built the neurology for coaching, for teaching, for counseling, for writing. Have you ever wondered why it's called medical practice or engineering practice or teaching practice? Because it's not enough to just study it. You've got to practice it, become it. And when you have practiced, done very well, known it so well, the next thing in the Ezra code is to teach. This is where a lot of people are dropping the ball. This is where so many people who have been alive, had so much experience, and they are now in their 50s and 60s. they are dropping their wealth because they do not close that loop. They have studied, they have practiced their discipline, their career, their parenting, their everything. They've practiced it for 35 years, 40 years. Now they are 65. And they drop the ball there. But the money is in the teaching. The money is in the teaching. You must, because that's the, see, God allowed you to go through that so that something can be handed over to the next generation. And you're being rewarded. Teaching. The money is in the teaching. So let me give you a few examples. So there's more money in teaching than you can handle in your lifetime. I really wish somebody could write that down, because for me, this is just, this is just enough. There's more money in teaching. Type it, relate, let this thing go through your finger, go through your nerves. There's more money in teaching than you can handle in your lifetime. There's nothing people are not making money teaching today. People are making money teaching young mothers how to change diapers. There are all kinds of ridiculous things I've seen people teaching online. People are teaching from their backyards, teaching people how to make liquid soap. Young women making so much money. Young girls, they teach them how to make liquid soap, the things to mix, and then they pour it into the molds and how to cut it and how to package it, and they are making money. Guess what? They're not making money from the soap. They are not selling soap. They don't have manufacturing facility. They do not have a supermarket. But they are making more money teaching what they've already practiced, what works, than anything. So there's more money in teaching than you can handle in your lifetime. And you don't have to wait to get a teaching degree before you can start teaching. There's all kinds of people teaching. You don't need a degree. Look at this guy. He makes millions. And this was even very old. I don't think he still does $500,000. He's probably doing double that now. This is a barber. How many people can you barb in a day? So let's say you barb for 10 hours a day, which is not possible, but let's, to just for illustration purposes. So you're barbing for 10 minutes a day. And let's say each one takes you 30 minutes. And then back to back. So 30 minutes to complete one client. That is also if the clients are there, but let's just assume. So how many people in a day can you barb if you're working 10 hours? That's 20 people. And then let's give room for, you're going to take breaks. You're going to have to clean the clippers. You're going to have lunch. And then, of course, you don't control the customers coming. So let's say with all that you are doing 12 a day. And let's say that you charge, let's say that you charge 2,000 Naira per client. So 2,000 times 12 people. How much is that? That's a maximum of 24,000 Naira that you can make in one day. Are you following my math? So 24,000 Naira in one day. Let's say that you do that for 30 days. 24 times 30, how much is that? That's about 720,000 Naira in a month. Barbers don't make that. Let's just assume you're making 720,000 Naira in a month. But this guy comes up with this brilliance. He says, hey, listen, Ezra code. I've learned it. I've studied it. I've done it for 7 years, 10 years. So I've practiced it. Wait a minute. Let me teach it. And he says, one person, 500,000 Naira. So Do you see how one person, by the time he enrolls 2 people, he has already made in one class, in one master class, what he makes in the month? Let's even make that more exciting. This guy's class fills 100 people, 120 people or something. Let's just say 100. That 100 students in the class times 500, because I've seen some of these people's backend. They make a lot of money teaching. How much is 100 times 500,000? So that is 50 million. In 2 days, 50 million. If he were to just continue to barb at 700,000, which is in 1 month, in 1 year, that would be 8.4 million. Let's just say 10 million. He has made in 2 days what he would earn in 5 years because of Ezra code. Is somebody getting it? Or am I just the one? Is somebody getting it? Just do a thumbs up if you're actually getting what I'm talking about. This is powerful. Now, this Baba guy is not alone in this understanding. So these people hit this code without even knowing that that's what they are doing, without knowing that that is how they are making insane money, completing the Ezra code. Because many of you just stopped at practice. So at practice, you are making 10 million naira in the year. But at teaching, you potentially, can you imagine, let's say he does it every quarter. He does it once every quarter. Each quarter, 50 million. How much is that for the year? That's 200 million in 1 year versus 10 million he could possibly have made, because he went beyond practicing to teaching. Vicky James does the same thing. I don't even know if she still has time to run this class, because the girl is so rich. I hear she makes clothes for 5 million, 7 million, 10 million. And so he now comes out to teach this luxury fashion class, 1 million. And as usual, I remember one of the ads, very poor people in Facebook. 1 million, 1 million. As they were saying 1 million, another person, somebody who was part of what she was doing, said that the class had filled up and she was not taking more people. If she had remained at just doing her fashion, her sewing, she would make that kind of this thing. Can you imagine if 100 students sign up, and because she has a very strong brand and people are seeing visibly her success because she has studied, she has practiced, now she's teaching. If you plug 100 people there, how much is that? That's 100 million per class. And then I've been seeing her in recent times flying all over the whole place with her family. Today she's in South Africa. The next I'm seeing Vicky James is somewhere in Germany. Why wouldn't she be going all over the place? What's enabling it? The Ezra principle, the Ezra code. Study, practice, teach. Here's another woman, many of you know, Hilda Bassi, from online cooking, from one class. That was in 2023, yes. From one class, she said she recorded 187 million teaching cooking. And she even said registration her clothes, she had more than enough. And she's, so she cooks. I think recently she did something. She cooked jollof. I don't follow up with these things, but I think I just saw some headline somewhere. She organized some massive cooking something. But you see, how many, if she sells a plate of her food for 5,000, how many plates, how much cooking will she do to make 187 million? And that year they interviewed her, the next year that they interviewed, I think it was 2024 or so, or the same 20, she was on her way to making 2 billion from teaching, not from cooking. She has studied cooking, she's practiced it, now she's teaching it. I just wish I could let you people know, just how much money is into this thing. Now, this is the 9 delivery or monetization models to show you how powerful this Ezra principle works. So many of us start doing one-to-one. For instance, there's sort of coaching people one-to-one. And so somebody pays, my one-to-one right now is $500 for 90 minutes per session. And it had to go up because I found that the time it takes me to prepare for one person, sometimes it's actually 2 or 3 times what it takes me to prepare for a class of 1,000 people. And so I started with one-on-one, but I'm not doing a lot of one-on-one. Even companies come, they reach out to me. There's a company in Victoria Island that's reaching out to do sales training. I have to give them, I give them, some important, some good value, to pay for my time. And I don't miss it. If they don't come back to me, I do not miss it. Why? Because of the second delivery, one-to-many. So you deliver once, many people benefit. That's what you're doing here. So one-to-many. Okay, group coaching, live workshops, classrooms. Then let me talk about number 4, one-to-many. You're going to have this video. You can always look at it, and then I can cut it if you want it. If somebody reminds me in the group, I can do a PDF of this to show you many ways you can monetize the Ezra principle. One-to-masses, for instance, you have books, you have online courses, it's just there. I wake up and then somebody from some part of the world, has bought my digital product. So it's one-to-masses. There's also many-to-many. This is what the Uber platform, for instance, is doing. You have so many drivers and so many customers, how the people hailing taxis. So that's many-to-many model. There's also many-to-one, where people have crowdfunding, okay, or investment funds. Then there is one-with-one, which is different from one-to-one. So one-with-one is where you have the partnerships and then the collaborations, the joint partnerships and things like that. Then, are you ready for it? You have machine-to-many. This one is relatively, I added this one, relatively new, because the AI has literally made it easy for anybody anywhere who is determined, who wants to learn, to make money. So you have machine-to-many. So it's automated, it's AI-driven. Your system it continues to work while you sleep. Okay, so this is what e-commerce does for you. This is what trading boards on Forex, crypto, and all that. That's what they do. Then you have assets-to-many. I love this one. Okay, this is where you have assets that earn money for you. You have an intellectual property licensing. And so you have assets that earn money for you. You have royalties, you have rental properties, you have residential buildings, commercial properties in different cities and all that, and they're making money for you. What you're seeing here is the master. It's the master blueprint. And then I'm almost very certain that you've not seen this before. So take this with Ezra principle and monetize to increase your net worth. Now, let's talk about systems. Because if you have been in the Financial Fitness Challenge long enough, you've heard me talk about systems. And then one of the videos, one of the sessions, the modules on the learning platform is focused on everyday money. And what you're seeing right there on screen is exactly what happens where there is no system. What you're seeing on the screen is exactly why so many people in their 40s and 50s are afraid of their future, because they've not gotten their money stories together. So that is why it's important to have a system. Okay, now, you've heard me say that the difference between the poor and the rich, as I've been growing in my personal finance journey, I observed the rich and the poor a lot. Differences in mindset, like night and day. Differences in the way these people communicate. Because I've had opportunity to work for a billionaire. Work closely, I consulted for him, and his management team. These people think extremely differently. They do not see impossibilities. They do not accept excuses. They do not complain, which amazed me. And they are patient. The other thing that surprised me, that was an aha moment in my work and my study of rich people, is I discovered that these people think in terms of systems. They repeat systems. They don't want something that they have to do manually twice. If you have to do it twice, 3 times, then they just turn it into a system. So they repeat systems to the point that their businesses are systems. Look at Elon Musk out there. I keep talking about him because I use Starlink. He's Starlink. He doesn't know who in the world I am, where I am, but he has a system that's making him money. Part of the system is subscription income. Because if the guy wasn't wise, he would have just said, anyway, his set light is there. There's no more, you've created it once, and then, so just let people pay once, and then they will have internet access forever. For where? No, he created a system. And that system, he said, first of all, let's put satellites up there. I think they call them, is it like low Earth orbiting satellites? Let's put them all up there. I don't know how many. He was planning to send like 30-something thousand. I don't know how many they are today. And then let's create, because every money system, every business system has 3 subsystems: systems to create value, systems to deliver value, and systems to capture value. So for him, he said, how we're going to capture value, let's create a system of subscription income. So we ship the hardware to these people, and then they install our Starlink software where we manage. Do you know, from wherever they are managing? I have a Starlink account that you can switch on and off, rotate, do all kinds of things. That's a system. That's what the guy did. So now he repeats the system. He created the system once, and the system is making him billions on a daily basis. I saw that that's the way the rich people think. They repeat systems. The poor people repeat tasks. They wake up every day. Monday, they have to wake up at 4 a.m., prepare breakfast for husband, prepare lunch pack for children, do this, do that, take a bath. 6:15 a.m. must leave the house, do school run, drop them, go to the office, work their asses off, go pick the children, come back to the house, repeat the same thing every single day. Repeat the same thing. And then they wonder why they don't have money. They wonder why they struggle. So think in terms of repeating systems, not tasks. Because at this stage in your life, you are experiencing economic diminishing returns. The more you hustle, the less money you make. And if you actually sit down and look at your finances, that's the way it is. Without a system, the more you hustle, the less money you make. All right. So, to create a system that makes money for you, you have to think about the 3 subsystems. The first system is the one that makes the money. And that system, the criteria or the rule, like for my own system, is unlimited income. I don't want anybody to determine how much I earn every month. It's called salary. Nothing wrong with salary. But I want a money system that doesn't have limited income, that doesn't have income that is capped. I want a system that brings in money every day in local and then foreign currency, no matter how small. Okay, so I want a system that has consistent cash flow, and then I want a system that has multiple streams. For the second part of a system is managing it. How do I design abundance instead of manage scarcity? How do I weaponize my spending? How do I weaponize my spending such that I'm spending, but I'm earning money spending? How then the third part is, how do I multiply my money system? Automated investing, asset growth, estate planning. So this is a system. So you ask yourself, what do you have to put in place today such that if you travel, you decide, okay, I want to go to Caribbean and spend the next 2 years, you can do it. Do you know it's only a system that can allow you to do that? And there are people running that system. I have a friend, who just celebrated her 60th couple of weeks or months back. And then they literally cruised around the world, or cruising with the family, cruising like nobody cares. She doesn't wake up to go to work because she built a system. Okay. Now, this is where you're going to do the practicals. There are 3 subsystems. So the first is the income generation subsystem, because your system has to bring in the money. Because if it's not bringing the money, then you have a broken system. Then the second one is financial control. How do you manage your money? Because how you manage your money, remember the 4 pillars of net worth. Okay, how you manage your money such that you're not bleeding it, so that it's not leaking, such that you're not cannibalizing your capital. So that's the second part of your system. And the third one is, how will you multiply your money? How you multiply your money? That's a system. You've got to turn all these things to system so that these things can be running themselves while you are there chilling, and you're working just because you want to work, not because you have to work. But if you don't have a system for your money, if you don't have a system for this thing I'm showing you on the slide right now, you're going to work until you die. It's not a curse, it's a fact. So now I have questions, some prompts that will help you to create your own system. Then after that, the final thing we're going to do is to create a 90-day net worth acceleration program. You're going to give me a number that in next 90 days, this is how you're going to grow your net worth. 90 days, at least 1 quarter. And I'll show you how to do that. But before then, let's put a system in place so that you can now build. This is the system that's going to reinforce, multiply, and accelerate your net worth. So the first question for how you make money is, what is your process for making money daily? It's something you've got to think through and write down. It's not luck. It's not anointing, whatever that is. You've got to sit down to process. What is the process to make money every day? So you will list all your current sources of income, how much you earn from that. You might not be able to do that, but you should be able to do that. We might not be able to finish all that today, but you should have some idea. Where is your money coming from? How much comes from each source? So maybe your salary brings in this amount of money. Then this comes from stocks. This comes from something you sell on Instagram, the amount of money from the goods you sell from Temu on Instagram. So you have to list all those things. This comes from your YouTube monetization every month. You list all of them. For how you manage your money, you're asking, once your money hits your account, how do you divide it? That's part of a system. So you're going to create your ideal allocation plan. And then for the third part, how do you multiply your money? These are questions you should sit down with yourself and answer. What investments options are you most knowledgeable and comfortable with? What systems are you using to grow passive income streams. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you my own example, and then I would now let you do yours. Okay, so here's my example, right? So not detailed, but this will give you some excellent idea about how to create your money system, your wealth system. So I've made it A, B, C, because sometimes when you hear your wealth system, it sounds something really, really complicated. So this is it at its base. So in my own case, my income generation system, of course, coaching and consulting for big businesses, that's one of my income sources. Monetizing my skill online. I do food production. I produce fufu, organic fufu, okay? I also produce palm oil, local palm oil, and I trade that. Money comes in from there, okay? I also sell honey, wild honey from the forest. I go to meet the hunters. So you list all those things there. I have digital assets, and then I have stock market. Okay, so that's my example. Then for my financial control system, I have living costs. I have to allocate to living costs, but at any particular time, I don't want to leave a certain amount of money, 200K base level in my account for more than 24 hours. Okay, so I have some dollar funded software that I use for my work every day. I have subscriptions to all kinds of programs, you know, Vidio, Canva, Bluehost, all kinds of subscriptions. There's the Facebook, what do they call this blue mark? Okay, verification. So I fund that, I allocate some money for that. Then I also have two investment accounts. One is for dividend investing for the stocks I never intend to sell. And then the other one is penny stocks where I can trade, but I intend holding for at least 3 to 5 years because those penny stocks might represent growth stocks that will do 500%, 1000%. Nobody knows. So I allocate some money to that. And as to how I multiply my money, so I have premium dividend assets in one stockbroker. That's what I do with that stockbroker. And then I have penny stocks in another one. And then for US stocks, I use Bamboo. Then I do dividend reinvesting plan. I review my portfolio weekly because they send me that. And I practice what I call random acts of kindness, like every day. I walk out there, I have a word of cash around me, you know, looking for who can I help today? Who can I give? 3 days ago, you know, schools have resumed in this part of the world. And then I saw this young man just roaming the estate. And I was jogging at that time in the morning. So, but it was already to 9 or past 9 a.m. So this guy should be in school, but he wasn't. Why are you not in school? And all that and all that. He said, no money. I said, how much is the school fees? He said that the owner of the school actually gave them, because these are indigent students, gave them scholarship, but that he doesn't have money, that his school bag was torn. He needed to repair his school bag. He said he didn't have the sandals. And then what was the other thing? School uniform was torn. He didn't have. Okay. So I asked, how much is it? He said he doesn't know. So I said, run to the market, which is not very far from me. Just find that. He came, told me this was how much it was. And then off, you know, I spent that money. His poor parents came the next day to the gate and all that and all that. So I'm just talking about random acts of kindness. I don't know this guy. I didn't know his parents. I'm not related to him from Adam, but I look for opportunities like that. Whether I'm at the airport, on the road, and I see some mad person looking for food or something, whatever. I just So readiness to give, because I tell you, giving should be a part of your system. Giving should be a part of your system. And then perhaps the most important part of my multiplying my money is personal growth. See these books behind me? It's not wallpaper. I read them. I watch dozens of YouTube videos and podcasts every day. I also have coaches that I pay a lot of money. One of them I paid $10,000 just to teach me marketing. The other one, I paid her $4,000. I had 8 sessions with her, $500 a session. Did you know what I paid her for? Just to communicate my value. That was all she did with me for 8 sessions, 1 hour each session, $4,000. So I'm constantly learning. I attend events in the United States and around the country. I hire local coaches, who are really very good at what they're doing to teach me that. This is a system, because if you are not learning, you are not growing. So a lot of people plan their money, but they don't plan their learning. Because I've told you that the money is in the mind, not in the market. So the more you grow your mind, the more your money in the market grows. All right. Is this exciting? Okay, somebody getting value? Okay. So now, this is how to put my system, like in a graphic. Everything I've told you, this is exactly how it is. Income comes in, then is allocated, and then it goes to asset acquisition, then goes to these 2 major classes, and it funds the purpose for which God created me, because the purpose of wealth is not for you to go around showing off your car or showing off where you live. God forbid. And that's not the purpose of wealth for me. Not to show off, not to start driving all those things and then, letting people on social media know that I've arrived. That's nonsense. So this is my current system. Now, so you're going to do yours. Okay, so we're going to take a break and then you will do yours. Should we do this in the breakout room so that you can help each other? Co-host, is that a good idea, or everybody just walks? Okay, this is what we're going to do. I want you to take a screen capture. Take a screen capture of this, and we're going to send you to your rooms. When you go there, use the first 2-3 minutes to do it on your own, and then use 10 minutes. Use 10 minutes to discuss your findings. If I let this whole thing take 10 minutes, so first 2-3 minutes, you do yours. Do your own, and then the remaining time, use it to discuss your findings among yourselves. Then we'll come back and then debrief. So take a screen capture of this, because you're not going to see it when you get into your rooms. Take a screen capture, and you are 40, as I can see here. So let's have co-host. How many groups? Should we have 10? That will be 4 people in each.
Yeah,
what to be?
10 is fine.
But I'm thinking we should have 3 people in each to make it easier for. So for 40, how many? So 13 rooms. Okay, so let's do 13 rooms. And so everybody go to your rooms right now for the next 10 minutes. Take the first 2 or 3 minutes to quickly, don't worry if it's not detailed right now. This is just for you to feel it. Remember, we talked about study, practice, and teach. So this is for you to practice it. Then when you get back, you can now put all the details, all right, so that you see exactly how it happens. All right, so everybody go to your rooms, click that join that came to your system. Just click the join. Everybody, make sure you join your breakout rooms right now. Okay. and it's for 10 minutes. Co-host. Chukwubuka, you're still here? Join your room, everybody. Kamoru, join your breakout rooms quickly.
Hello, Chukwuebuka and Samuel and Francis.
Good.
Check somewhere on your device because you have been assigned and it's just showing that you haven't joined. So check somewhere on your device look out for join breakout room on the device you're using.
I've been put now.
You've seen it, please, yes, just click and join. HP, your name is not there. Samuel and Francis, you're in the same room and you haven't joined.
Yes, I haven't seen where you are indicating. Sorry.
Okay, on your device, check more. On the device you're
Okay.
using, if you can't see it on the screen, check more. You will find join breakout room somewhere.
Okay. So what I'm seeing is rather meeting settings. I don't know whether I should go there.
Can't see more here.
You can't see more.
Yes. Can't see more here.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you
I've
found
seen more.
it?
I've seen
Okay.
more, but I'm not seeing any join meeting. Or meeting settings. That's what I have here. Meeting settings.
Yes, same here. Same here.
There's no breakout.
Are you using your phone?
Yes, I'm using my phone.
What do you click now? Okay, maybe what you can do, let me take note of. Samuel is in group, Chukwuebuka, you're in group 3. And then Samuel is in group, Samuel is in group 6. So maybe you can, is it possible for you to go out and then come in? Then I'll send you there.
Okay, man. Then let's do so. Let's do so now.
Okay, Samuel and Francis, you'll be in group 6, in room 6.
Okay, thank you.
You join, I will take you to room 3.
what room am I?
Hello, is that Caroline? Were
I
you in a breakout room before?
couldn't join it. To join
Okay,
a breakout room, I clicked on it, but I didn't find myself in any room.
okay. Just a minute. I'm sending you to room 11. Gabriel, I'm sending you to room 12. Who else is left? Chukwuebuka. Caroline, I've sent you to room 11 and you haven't joined. Okay, you've joined now. Who else is left?
They have 5 more minutes only.
It's less than 5 minutes.
Oh, it's less? Okay. Okay, good.
It's 3 minutes more.
Oh, okay. That works.
Coach, I have to eat a little. So we're trying to juggle this at lunch, Coach.
Okay, remember to mute yourself as you're coming back to the room. Okay, so all right, so everybody, welcome back. So let's start by debriefing the experience. Who found this exercise very helpful? Okay, just raise your hand. Raise your hand to speak and I'll recognize you. And then if you're raising it physically, I'm not going to see you. So use the tool to raise your hand. Okay, so let's start with Gustav.
Yes, thank you, Coach. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. I think it was a very, very helpful and practical exercise because some of these things we think about them in silos and in different pieces. But when you put them all together in the structured format you ask us to, then you see exactly how it becomes a system. Because when you're looking at them individually, it's scattered all over. And we all kind of know those things in terms of the heading, but we never really make the connection of how they all connect into building a system now that leads to probably everyday money and then leading now up to building generational wealth and having a positive network.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
Yeah, so it was it really connected the dots in my mind.
Excellent. Yeah, and that's the purpose because like I said, you know, a lot of people make money the hard way and they just wonder. But this is easy. This is what makes money easy. But I bet you a lot of people won't do this because they want complicated things. They want, okay, please come and tell us what crypto to buy, and then we make $1 million. But these are the simple things that actually make wealth a very pleasant thing to do and then a very easy thing to do. So good. Hello, John.
And one thing before, yes, and
Okay.
Coach, I think one of the very important things which really just this make a lot of sense to me too is because just like you, earlier in my life, I worked in the IT industry for about 12 years, had 2-3 jobs, making upwards of 300K and that kind. But I didn't know how to manage money, how to multiply it. It all left me. And for the first time in my life at 49, with even less income, but with a structured semblance of a system from your videos, everything is lining up. I wake up and see money in my savings account. I see money in my investment account. I know how to multiply money. I know what it means investing in the stock market. I know what it means to be able to have additional group. And now you just gave me something, and I don't know if you need to give me a sign authorization to use it. The Ezra principle. That is crazy.
Yeah, please do. Please do use it. It's powerful. Please do use it.
That
Awesome.
It is a light bulb that came up in my mind.
Yeah.
So I thank you, Coach. I think I paid $105. I've gotten $10,000 worth of value. Honestly, I owe you.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. And my joy is just when people can take this and implement and get results. And then when I see you anywhere, you're happy, your family is happy, and then you're able to help other people to create impact in your communities. And that's my greatest joy, that people can take these things because I live my life to create systems. And I think in terms of this, and I keep thinking about how can I make this thing so easy for people, so easy for anybody to just plug and play. And so growing up, we hear systems, thinking system, but nobody really articulated, even for me to, to use myself. So I had to sit down to think, what does a wealth system really entail? And I said, it has three basic systems. How you earn money, how you bring in income, how you manage it, how you multiply it. So it's simple, it's accessible. It can be explained to a 6-year-old. And when I go out there and I tell people money is easy to make, I really mean it. Because if one can put down, these things, and just look at the kind of clarity you got and the impact that's going to have on your finances. And then you see that with systems, money is very easy to make. So thank you very much for that feedback. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. Thank you.
Okay. John, good to see you.
Yeah. Yes, I'm here, Coach. Thank you so much for being that kind of backbone that is lifting people up. I am greatly, thrilled. So again, is to appreciate you all your effort. Usually, you prepare so much for for every session. So thank you for the effort you are putting. I'm also glad that you have that joy, that satisfaction, seeing that people are deriving a value in it. So that I know is your pay. Is your pay. Thank you so much.
My
Okay,
pleasure.
so yeah, we didn't have enough time deliberating, even though we are three. And I guess some other teams also may have similar challenges.
Right.
I'm just wondering whether before you release us, I'm wondering whether it's possible for you to organize more sessions where you would just put an agenda and break us in groups so that we can talk more.
Okay.
And having been with you for about 2-3 months, I know that some people are already running 100 meters. I also know that some people are still warming up at the starting point.
Right.
That is always of life. I mean, yeah, it's normal. So, but maybe such a meeting, if it goes down well with you and with the group,
okay,
maybe we can have like 1 hour, and we can break ourselves into groups,
right.
and we can have more time to discuss on ourselves, try to know one another more, to the extent that we can be of use. I know on the platform, I see that a lot of people are already bonding, which is great, but still many people are still like visitors that are on holiday. So if it's possible to have such sessions, we can talk more, we can interact, we can learn from one another. It may help. It's a suggestion if that go down well with you and with the group. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, that's a great suggestion. And incidentally, you also mentioned the group because that's actually what the group was meant for. And that's also why you have, group chairperson and then a deputy to be able to organize, because you guys are in it for life. You are there to support one another, because one of the tenets of the Financial Fitness Challenge is that wealth is a team sport. You hardly do it alone. And you are all blessed that you have people from diverse backgrounds, living in different countries. John, I believe you're in Canada yourself, and then I believe Gustav is in Houston in the US or something, and then there are a couple of people from the UAE. So you have an incredible network to tap from. And I would also consider this suggestion about coming in once in a while to moderate and facilitate group conversations where you have more time to talk about, to dive down, do a deep dive on certain things like systems, stock market, acceleration, net worth acceleration plans, and things like that. So that's a good one. We'll keep that in mind. Okay. All right. So now let's look at the final part of our meeting tonight, where we can now craft a 90-day plan for accelerating your net worth. So let me say something about challenge, about the power of challenge and why I decided to run this thing like a challenge. Because at a certain age in our lives, many times by the time we are 30 or 28 and above, I think they said that the boys' prefrontal cortex actually mature at 28. For girls, much earlier. The girls wisen up far earlier than the men, which is just amazing thing about nature, about how God made it, because by, the young women are ready to start a family long before the young men. And I mention this because at some point, we're already set, almost like set in our behaviors, in the way we think, in our perspectives of the world, that the only thing that can make us shift our perspectives in life after 28, after 30, after 35 has got to be a challenge. For a lot of people, that challenge comes to them like a trauma. So there's some people who have had like near-death experiences and they woke up. Like in my own case, escaping that plane crash in 2012 June by the whiskers was a life-changing experience for me. And then, so sometimes when we don't have some of those challenges or traumatic experiences, we never change. We never change. So you find a man in his 40s, he's already a drunk person. Like I have a guy who works for me. I was just like, how do I get this guy out of drinking and also drugs? He's in his mid-30s. And it's literally, there's nothing I have not done for like 2 years. He will talk and talk and talk and talk, and then he does not change. This is why it takes a trauma. Many times something happens, and he will be the one himself to say, oh, I will never drink again. Because I've told him, you have 2 young children. Your wife is expecting another baby right now. You never have money. Anything I pay you, you go straight to drink and to do some drugs. So see, when people are like that, they hardly change until there's a challenge, something that really jars them out of their sleep. So now there are reasons that challenging yourself works. You don't have to wait, but this platform is actually challenge-based. And if you've noticed, I'm challenging different parts of your thinking that you never thought about. Is all challenging you. Find that information for yourself. Don't wait to be spoon-fed. You see, because many of you have become comfortable with asking, and if you see the way I answer some of you in the group, like Kamoru has been asking about downloading New York Stock Exchange price and stock details and data and information. And then is there, I keep saying, go is deliberate, because I can go there and just download it. But if you explore something, if you're challenged and you explore something and figure it out yourself, that learning stays with you forever. And there's a joy in being able to discover. But is that many of you, simple things you could go to Google to ask, to find out, to learn by yourself. Or simple things you could use ChatGPT to actually teach yourself. You are coming in the group to ask those questions. And I'm deliberately not giving you straight answers because this is a challenge. You can see that for 40 years, 40-something years of your life, you have unconsciously grown to, whenever you want information, you ask somebody. You ask, even though the thing is right in your hand. It happens to all of us. And I remember, when my wife went through it with our children, they were much younger at the time. And she would just ask them, because that's the way we grew up. We're not conscious about these things. And then, and then she'll ask the children something or ask me something, and then our little boy at the time, he would say, Mommy, go to Google, something like that, So he said, Mommy, Google it. And it's something very simple that she just Googles and then the thing. But Mommy, Google it. It went on for years until, she's a master researcher, herself right now. So until I point it out to you, many of you do not know it, that thing is there and it's holding you back. Yeah. How do I download NYSC data? Because I had to figure it out. I didn't read it anywhere. I had to say, okay, I want to download it from investing.com. I went there and tried to figure it out and did it. And I didn't write it down. I didn't say how, this is how to, because it was something I just believed that I could figure out. And if I go there, I figure it out. And that's what I did. I went there, figured it out. And I'm saying, you go there, challenge. Once you're challenged, and the muscles, some muscles, mental muscles you have, and also physical muscles, when you challenge them and they wake up, they never sleep again. And that's how money is made. Okay, so that's why we do challenge, because comfort is strong, is a stronger trap than fear in later life. People, the brain is comfortable with that comfort zone. So you need, especially as we are growing older, we see habitual thinking, like what I just pointed out to you. For some reason, it's the same thing. It's not just my wife or myself. Many of us grew up like that. Something that we should actually use our own head to research. First things we ask the next person. And then many times the person we're asking doesn't even know. The person just quickly goes to Google, looks it, and then gives you the answer. So why don't you go just find it out yourself? Comfort. Okay, without a challenge, the stakes feel too low to change. If you didn't enter this financial fitness challenge, for instance, you probably wouldn't be challenged to start thinking about $1 million as your peg. But if you're not part of it, like I'm going to challenge you just in the next couple of slides. Think $1 million. Why not you? Think $500,000. Think million. Think those big numbers. Don't worry about how, but you see, if you are not challenged, the stakes will feel too low. So life is just normal. But when you are challenged, human beings respond more strongly to emotional arousal than to just neutral, ordinary, everyday situation. And that's what the psychologists call activation energy. So the financial fitness challenge, this cohort is ending today, but that's not the end. It's just the beginning. Because all I have tried to do for these 3 weeks or so is to activate your energy. Because you can find out more by yourself than I've taught you. And then if you activate your energies within yourself, you have so much, even within yourselves, to create explosive wealth for one another, because wealth is a team sport. So that is why I structure this as a challenge. Then again, the brain is wired to love small wins, but never needing to pursue, but needs a challenge to chase them. Okay, so the brain loves it when there is a small win, but it doesn't like to make itself uncomfortable, to go out of the way to do it. So structured challenges help to trigger this cascade, that to release dopamine, which now motivates you to continue the effort. Fourth reason, challenges revive a sense of adventure. Just listening to Gustav, I can see, there's a renewed sense of adventure, which is what midlife silences it, because we've gotten used to the world. We've gotten used to so much failures and disappointment with government, disappointments with the economic system, disappointments with everything. We get tired. But then when I challenge you, it revives your sense of adventure. It revives your sense of possibilities to tell you, because many people have come to me, some have been part of this group, 62, 65 years, even a 72-year-old, and they're asking me, is this still possible? And I say, yes, it's possible. And that question makes me cry. A 65-year-old says, I'm 65, is this still possible for me? I don't know why that thing drew tears in my eyes. And people ask me that every time. A 68-year-old man had also come to me, asked the same question in my house. We ended up crying and weeping. Because whoever tells you that it is Whoever tells people that it is late, no, it's not late. See, but when I challenge you, it gives you this sense of adventure and tells you, look, if you're 65, for goodness sake, the way we are living these days, you might still have another 35 years because people are living to 90 something, 95, 100. My mother-in-law, went at 95 plus. And then we are burying another in-law in 2 weeks' time. The guy is almost 100. So if you are 60, chances are you still have 40 years. And 40 years is a long time to even to accomplish any goal that you set for your life. 40 years is enough time for you to learn a new language. And some of you are in your 30s and 40 here. Maybe you still have 50 years. There's so much. Do you know how much your money, what you're doing today, can compound in 30 years? Do you know what a good investment you put down today? When I did the analysis of US stocks, there have been companies that have paid dividends consistently, like they never miss it every year, for 65 years, for 70-something years. It was shocking. Never miss a dividend for 70 years. So do you imagine what it is that you put your money today and it's compounding for another 40 years? So you are 35 now. In 40 years, you're going to be only 75. By 75, the investment I'm challenging you to put down today will be so massive, you can never finish the money that single investment you're making today, as I'm encouraging you to do. You will never finish it. If you allow it to compound for the next 20, 30 years, you will shock yourself. Some of your stocks I'm telling you to buy today, and then you leave it, and then you're growing with it, you're investing in it. You're 35, you might find yourself retiring permanently by 50 from just the steps you're taking today. So challenges are important. Challenge yourself. Let people challenge you. Let others challenge you. Let the biographies, let the stories you hear about other people, in their midlife and the incredible things, let those stories challenge you. Accept challenges. Because if you don't, midlife will silence your adventure. You will just, it's like somebody said, some people die like at 40. They are 80, but they've been waiting for 40 years to be buried. No, so life is not maintenance, it's exploration. That's why you do challenges. Challenge reawakens the adventurous spirit. It reintroduces novelty, urgency, and a sense of discovery that the brain craves. Do you know today, if I throw you in there's a place I visited in Sierra Leone. Goodness. And I saw poverty. I saw poverty. I thought that Nigerians were poor until I got to that particular location. And I saw women cracking stones for a living. That's what they do. They crack stones. And then it's not just that the women were cracking stones for it. So you just see like a heap of, because how much can they crack in a day? And you can see poverty reaching all over them. So they crack rocks and put there. But see, what got me weeping, I easily cry when I see something. I didn't know why. When I saw that, was that her 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 3-year-old, they weren't going to school, because school day, they were not in school, but they were there. Can you imagine, 4-year, 5-year-old also trying to. So you see how poverty is already being passed on to these people. See, so there are some things you will see, it will challenge you. That site has never left me, and a couple of sites like that in places I've gone. The poverty I saw in Liberia, the one I saw in Ghana, the poverty in Nigeria is incredible. Nigeria just has a name for nothing. The poverty here is unbelievable. So this is what challenges me to do what I'm doing, because I'm like, if it's just for me and my wife and my family, I do not need to lift a finger, one finger again for the rest of my life. No, I don't. But how can I rest if I can create more wealth to be able to go back to Sierra Leone and start something for that community? So every day you see me online, I'm trying to do something. I'm selling the financial finish. the picture running behind my mind is that poverty. That thing I saw there. I want to be able to go there, live with the people. 2 years, 3 years. Teach them what I'm teaching you. Break it down to their level. Create hospitals where I can get volunteer. I have, friends from all over the world. I can get volunteer doctors from America, from Nigeria, to go there. So as I'm sleeping, those are the things running in my mind. And that's when I wake up, I say, okay, today I must sell. I must create value. I must go back, to, make money. I hope somebody is getting this. Okay, so this is the power challenge framework. I'm going to send this, share this with you in the group because we're out of time to go through that. But I'm going to show you the framework itself, how it works. The first thing is I want to challenge you in terms of portfolio challenge because we're talking about net worth acceleration. So the main challenge I want to throw at you is portfolio challenge. Okay, for like 365 years. Days, 1 year, for the next 12 months or the next 90 days. Pick a boundary where you are right now. Where is your net worth at right now? Your net worth falls within this boundary. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? Everybody's net worth here falls within this boundary. So it might be under 10. It might be between 10 to 100K in dollars. I've always encouraged all my clients and all my students, always denominate your net worth in US dollars. It just happens to be the world reserve currency for right now. I'm not sure how crypto is going to change all that, but for now, denominate it in that because that's only when it makes sense. Because if you are doing it in cedis or in Naira, or I don't know what your currency is, it might appear like you have a lot of money. So if you do your net worth and in Nigeria, for instance, and then the thing comes to 600 million, you might think you have a lot of money. But by the time you denominate it appropriately, just find that 600 million is like maybe $40,000. So it humbles you so that tomorrow you not go out there and start raising your shoulders that you're a rich man. Keeps you humble. So use US dollars. So now, if you're 10K, you can say in the next 365 days, you want to double your, you want to double. So these are like milestones. If now, for instance, your net worth is $5,000, you can say in the next 365 days, I'm challenging myself to raise my net worth to $10,000. Is that clear? If you find yourself between 100K and let's say 250, 300, you can tell yourself that your next portfolio challenge goal is $500,000. Now, when you have that, this is now when you can now, these are some of the examples of how you can challenge yourself. All right. This was how I blew up. I attended a coaching event by Russell Brunson of ClickFunnels in the US. And then during that coaching, that challenge, he said to all of us, he said, if you post every day for 365 days and your income does not double or triple, it's like, call me a liar or something like that. I took that challenge. So today, you see me on video, you see me on YouTube, and I'm not faceless or something, because a lot of people want to do faceless. And I show my face everywhere. But when I started, it was not like that. Today, I can afford to pick up a phone, go to my camera, and record. No script, nothing. But it wasn't like that when I started. Oh, I remember I would do a video. Oh, it's not good. I will do a second take, third take. Sometimes I will do 7 takes or 8 takes of 2-minute video or 3-minute video before I barely, and then I go back to some of those old videos Very, very funny looking at them. So, but it's a process. It was actually inspired by Russell Brunson, and I did. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, my income actually doubled in 1 year of posting content every day. So these are the sort of examples of things you can, do. You can say, all right, your challenge is 10K portfolio build-up. And you say, all right, I am going to invest until my portfolio passes the $10K mark in 12 months. So this is the sort of thing I want you to, this is the sort of challenge I want to launch you into. Yeah, Gustav, I see your hand, I'm coming. Now, I can tell myself, I want to buy 120,000 shares of JITCO and 120,000 of Presco in 365 days. This is the kind of portfolio challenge I want you to take on. Take on a challenge, because until you do, you don't move. And then you need to take a challenge that scares the hell out of you. Don't just take, because it's not going to be a challenge. If it's something you've already been doing, if it's something you've been doing, you're earning $40,000 a year. And then you're telling yourself, next year, I want to earn $42,000. That's not a challenge. You're joking. That's not a challenge. It's a challenge when you say, I'm earning $40,000 a year. Next year, I want to increase my income, side hustles, whatever, investing to 80,000. It becomes a challenge. But from 40 to 42 or 45,000, you can't call that a challenge. Okay. So this is how you can say, you can create your 90-day plan. I think you already have this in your, I think you already have it in the platform, but if you don't, I will send this to you. But I would like us to actually go straight into how this works. You see, 90-day plans are mysterious for many, many reasons. Mysterious number. Because first of all, the psychologists, tell us by research that multiple research over the years that human motivation runs in 6 to 12-week cycles before fatigue and boredom set in. It's incredible. Then, so our brains always crave closure. This is why you want to, by every means, destroy the habit of, there's a syndrome, something we call, you're always leaving a trail of abandoned projects behind you. You start something, you never finish it. It's terrible for your brain. Start something, finish it, even if it fails, because the brain doesn't care whether it failed or succeeded. What it cares is that there's closure. Because once there's closure, it tells the brain, I can take it up again. But if you start something, you don't finish, you start writing a book, halfway you abandon it, and then you start, palm kernel business, halfway you abandon it and then start, the brain hates that. So a defined 90-day window creates a mental container, a framework for focus. Now, the other mysterious thing is that nature itself runs roughly in 90 days. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, each of them. 90 days. So even the planet, nature itself teaches us that transformation happens in quarters. What's even more mysterious is that the global financial world runs on 90-day quarters. From Wall Street to boardrooms and other strategies are reviewed every 3 months. And company results are published every 3 months. And to make that even more mysterious, in strategic warfare, we know from history that the Roman legions, all the way to Napoleon's armies, they ran 90-day campaigns. So there's something about 90 days. So you can actually transform your worth, your net worth in 90 days. How do you do that? Please follow the 90-day plan. I'm going to send you this, but let me see. The first section of the plan asks you why you want to, that is dealing with the purpose, all these sections, purpose, priorities, plan, practice, payoff, so 5 P's to help you. In fact, these are the questions you want to work on. the purpose. So when you are drafting your 90-day plan, the first thing is, what's the purpose? Why are you doing this? Because you need a very strong conviction and motivation. For instance, that I've never forgotten that image of that woman and then her 3 children cracking stones under a hot sun for a living. And then I asked my host how much they made out of that thing. So for that whole day of cracking that thing, they do not make up to 50 cents, 70 cents. That's terrible. So for me, I can say I'm doing this because of, that. Priorities, what 3 outcomes must be true? In 90 days, you've got to be very, very clear to help you focus. Then plan says, what's the path to achieving these outcomes? You've got to break it down to weekly, and then possibly daily, and it should be visibly practical. Practices, what are the rituals that will keep you consistent? Then pay off. What rewards await you internally and externally? For those of you who read scripture, it said that Jesus, for the joy that was set before him, endured the cross, despising his shame. That guy was crucified naked. We just put drawings on, he was stark naked. And he endured that humiliation and that shame because of what was said before him. So this journey is always very good, that you have something that is rewarding, that is worthy of celebration, that you are crafting your 90-day plan on. Okay, so basically, that's the framework. And all these ones are just like sheets to help you describe in detail what I have just described with you, the 3 or the 5 things to do. So I'm going to send this. It should be in the course platform, but if it's not already there, I will put this in the group for you to use to create your 90-day plan. What's the purpose? What are the outcomes you want to see in the next 90 days? So it can be something as simple as you want to invest $1,000. You want to invest the next 90 days, you want to invest, $500 every month, or whatever the amount of money you have. You want to invest $100 consistently for the next 90 days. So you want to grow your portfolio by an additional $5,000. Make it challenging. And then it's going to ask you, what are you going to do? How are you going to, what process are you going to use? What's the plan to do it and things? And then you follow it. If you follow it, you will shock yourself in 90 days. Okay. So this is how you challenge yourself to move forward. Because I warn you again that if you don't challenge yourself, you are going nowhere. If you don't challenge yourself, especially midlife, where many of us have found that if you don't challenge yourself, things will be status quo. But challenge is what forces you to come out of status quo. And the moment you break out of your current fear barrier, you will amaze yourself and then take advantage of the relationships you have in your group. Get to know yourselves better. Introduce yourself more. The group chairman, you can make an Excel spreadsheet like the other previous cohorts did, where everybody says, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is where I live, these are my strengths, these are the places. So you share an Excel spreadsheet like that. So you know how to connect with yourselves. And then many of you are not active in that group. You are not contributing. You are not doing anything. So we don't even know whether you're learning, or if you're learning and hoarding it and not sharing with other people. Just a few of you come to share your plans and your insights to motivate other people. That's what all of you should do. So please be very serious about your wealth journey. It's not a casual thing at all. Wealth is not very casual. So be very, very deliberate about it. And I think we've overshot our time, but I hope you didn't mind. And if you're up to it, we still can take a couple of questions and comments before you let me know what your aha moments, as usual, are in the Telegram group. All right, Gustav, is your hand freshly raised up, or you forgot to lower it?
Yes, coach. I had, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, coach. Good. I have a quick question for you. You were
Mhm.
talking about your experience from the Russell Brunson coaching session and how it
Right.
led you into daily videos and daily posting. I remember
Yes.
the first time I watched that in one of your videos about 6 months ago or something. It intrigued me because I became serious on YouTube about 2 years ago. I've been able to put together about 1900 subscribers, about 250 videos. But the one
Very
strategy I haven't done yet is the daily video strategy. And so when I watched that video you said, I said, okay, the day I have a chance to talk to him one on one, I'll really ask him to help me give me a breakdown of how
okay.
that strategy works because I want to implement it. I have a plan to start implementing it on the first of November. Sorry, for 365 days
Yeah.
non-stop. Because I remember you took a break about a month ago, and that was after about
Right.
365 days of
Yeah.
posting. You took a vacation for the first time. I want
Right.
to replicate exactly what you did. What is it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Um, it's actually very, it's actually very easy. So one thing is to have your core message. If you look at those videos, they have some core messages. And then over time, like early this year, it actually evolved a little bit because when I started, I was focusing on two things. One, financial literacy, and then
Mm-hmm.
secondly was relationship, marriage, because I saw that um, if people can keep a relationship, if people can marry happily, wealth is actually very easy and success becomes easy. And
I
again,
agree with you.
a happy home also creates a very nourishing environment, for children to grow up balanced members of the society. So I thought that it was important to fill that gap. And, again, talking about the Ezra principle, these are things, all these three subjects, I'll mention the third one, were things that I've studied, I've lived, I've practiced. This year we'll be married, my wife and I, for 30 years. And we've watched how a very loving home is perhaps the best gift a child can receive growing up in a loving environment, in a nurturing environment where they've never heard their daddy or mommy raise their voice against one another. So, and then the third thing was, to help businesses to go from small to global. Again, it's coming from the work I have done with Stanford University. I worked with Stanford University, Graduate School of Business for about 6 years. And then in the process, I had worked with and helped companies in about 13 countries in Africa, helping them to do that. So this, this were the core. So there was a core philosophy, and then the core philosophy was this: there's no voice in these spaces. And if we as a continent are to grow, this is not what our politicians are talking about. This is not what our religious people are talking about. And if that gap is not filled, Africa will literally not fulfill its potential. So I had to build that sort of conviction. That was a philosophical basis. And I said, okay, these are the three things. Once you have a very strong raison d'etre and you have very strong conviction, the messages will come very, very easily. And then once you start, and then people start asking questions and interacting, from their questions, you actually get more content because, these are questions that people are asking. And then once you're talking about money, about financial literacy, about money, you're talking about business, you're talking about relationship, business, marriage, You will never lack content. I mean, I can literally, if I have the structure right now, I can produce like 10 videos every single day. It comes from understanding the problem, creating a mission that is strong enough, identifying a particular problem that you want to destroy in the society, you want to attack in the society, where you want to create value, and then go for it. You will never lack. And again, committing yourself by telling people that you're going to be showing up 8 p.m. every day. It was insane. But because I had told people I was going to do it, I did it, for a year. And then took that break in August to re-strategize. So now I found that I can comfortably do Wednesdays and Sundays and still do my regular videos and all that. And again, I can wake up tomorrow because I know that this period of the year is very, very busy for me. This is when a lot of my corporate clients want me to lead their board retreats, want me to do sales training for them, want me to lead their company retreat. So, and it's usually very intense. Like I have 3 clients I'm working with right now. So I won't be able to do that. But after that, who knows? I can say, okay, January, I can do it again because the mission is still there. The material is still there. The need is still there. So it's more of your internal convictions and mission than it is out there. Yeah, once there's a very, very strong why driving it, won't have any issues, showing up every day to do that. Okay.
What about ideation for topics?
Aviation?
How did you manage ideation? Topic ideation.
Ideation. Yeah. Yeah. You've got to look at it, from the big problem, angle, because something
No,
has
I
to
mean,
really.
did you have a system to generate
a system for
the topics? Yeah. Did you have a system, or you were just randomly, whatever you got inspired, you talked about?
No, it wasn't random, because I've told you these are the 3 things. So I just X-ray, so like all the things I've been talking about money. So sometimes it's in conversations. Like I have that's a system actually. I have ideation books. So there's one right here. So I have ideation journals I carry around. Then the other thing that has helped me again is that I was on television, live television for 5 years, between 2009 and 2014. And being on live television,
I saw some of the episodes.
It involved a lot of researching, a lot of reading, a lot of meetings. So, I have maybe an unfair advantage when it comes to ideas. I have more ideas than I can manage because all those episodes are still there. So if I come to patterns, if I come to if I come to talk about, Africa and their, superstitions and that. So I have lots of materials, ideation books, ideation journals like this. I have lots of them. So sometimes listening to the people, because it should always be people focused. How do I deliver the best value? Even this one that we're financial fitness is always, how do I deliver? How do I make this thing so easy that anybody who is part of it can easily implement it? And I continue to, refine it every day. Then again, I don't always wait for it to be perfect. I don't wait for it to be perfect. I just put it out there. Sometimes the things I wasn't very comfortable putting out there, like my best performing video on the internet, somebody was saying the other day, it's like 300,000 views. So I don't even know how many, because I don't check. I almost didn't publish it. So I've learned, a long time to just let it go. And then the more you produce, the more you get a chance to see what works and then what doesn't work. Okay, so I hope that helps.
I think I'll have to book a one-on-one. Let's work on this thing. Thank you, coach.
Not a
Thank you.
problem.
I'll have to do that.
Not a
Yes,
not
I
a problem.
I'll book
All
some
right.
time so we can work on it. I
All
appreciate you.
right. Not a problem. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, so our usual ritual, and then we'll be gone. Please go to your Telegram groups, everybody, right now. I know some people are from earlier cohorts here, but whatever cohort you are, please go to your Telegram group. That's the last bit of it. And then those of you who are watching on YouTube, who are still there, go ahead and tell me what was your aha moment. What was your aha moment today? Capture it. Log on to the Telegram group right now. If you're driving, you may not be able to do that, but make sure that as soon as you get to where you are, I think Chukwubuka is driving or he's heading home or something. So when you get there, please do that. It's really, really important. It helps me to make the program a lot more interesting. All right, I think I can see. Okay, so John, go ahead. I can see your Telegram group. Okay, so this is cohort 8. All right, please let me know. What was your aha moment? What made your day today? So I'll read a couple of them, and then we'll work on the next steps. Okay, not on the Zoom chat, in the Telegrams group. Yeah, so for me, I can see that a couple of things, not here. Please type it in the Telegram group because it's important that you keep a record of that. So for me, do take what you have said. Emeka, do the same thing. Please type it in the Telegram group. I like what you said here. For me, I don't want anyone to determine how much I earn. That's a fundamental rebellion that each person who wants to become financially free needs to make. Yeah, because it can be financially free if somebody always tells you how much you earn. Yeah, Nicola says that nature even subscribes to 90 days. Okay, Emeka, please put it in the Telegram group. There is more money in teaching than you can handle in your lifetime. Very true. Okay. Yeah, keep it coming, keep it coming. Oh, Funke, sorry. Funke, sorry. I keep saying Fumi. I'm so sorry, Funke. Yeah. Okay. Francis says, thank you immensely, coach. My aha moment was the Ezra principle and the challenge-based transformation. Great. Ella says, fantastic and fun session for me. Deliberately being intentional about doing the fund allocation. You are welcome, Ella. UC says, take up a challenge that scares the hell out of you. Absolutely. That's the only way to change. Yakubu says, mine is the Ezra principle and also the breakout rooms. John says, challenge is necessary tool to achieve greatness. Yes, comfort is a greater trap, absolutely, than fear in later life. Very, very true. Very true. When we are much younger, we might be afraid to take decisions, to take risks. But when we are older, comfort becomes the enemy, the trap. Okay. Yeah, G-Man says, focus on your net worth, not your bank balance. Absolutely. Okay, Edie says, set a financial target that is beyond you. Absolutely. Chukwubuka says, think in net worth, not in bank balance. Bayo says, measure your net worth in US dollars. That's correct because it will humble you and give you a better picture of reality. Mike says, if you don't challenge yourself, you remain in the status quo. But if you do, you'll be amazed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you all very much. I know Fidel is still typing, and then a couple of you. But I'm going to let you go for now, and then we will continue in the group. So final words, it's possible. You can do it. It's possible. You can do it. Don't let anything discourage you, and don't let any temporary setback, discourage you. You can do it, and you always need to tell yourself that. And I'm here rooting for you and praying for you that you become extraordinarily wealthy so that together we can join hands to solve problems, especially in our continent, that the politicians can do. So thank you all very much. And whatever happens, keep showing up because you just never know what's coming your way next. And I'll see you in the group. Good night.